There are certain women who can walk into a room and say very little, yet something in the atmosphere quietly shifts. The conversation slows, the tension eases, people feel more grounded, even if they cannot explain why. This effect does not come from charm, beauty, or performance. It comes from inner steadiness. In today's world, we often mistake emotional intensity for depth. We reward expression over understanding, noise over presence, reaction over reflection. But true inner intelligence is rarely loud. The women we are speaking about today do not announce their wisdom. They do not perform spirituality. They do not seek validation through attention or approval. They move through life from a place of alignment. And because of that, their presence speaks before their words ever do. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good." Stoicism reminds us that clarity does not come from controlling the world around us, but from mastering the world within. When a person is centered, observant, and composed, they see others more clearly, and others in turn feel safer revealing who they truly are. This video is not about mysticism or fantasy. It is about grounded traits that can be observed in real life, quiet signs that reveal a woman who has developed depth, discipline, and self-awareness. These traits are often overlooked because they do not demand attention, they invite reflection. You will only notice them if you slow down, if you listen more than you speak, and if you value calm over chaos. Let us begin by observing the first quiet trait that reveals this kind of inner intelligence. Trait number 1. She quietly shifts the atmosphere. One of the first traits people notice, often without realizing it, is that her presence changes the room. Not through words, not through gestures, but through something quieter. When she enters a space, the energy settles. Conversations soften. People become slightly more aware of themselves. She does not announce herself. She does not command attention. Yet something subtle shifts. This is not emotional sensitivity in the dramatic sense. It is perception. She notices what is unspoken. She senses tension before it is expressed. She recognizes sincerity and pretense without needing proof. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be attentive to what is in front of you." A Stoic understands that truth often reveals itself quietly. Those who are attentive do not need to interrogate reality, they read it. Her awareness is refined through experience, through observation, through having learned over time to trust what she perceives. Because of this, she responds differently. She chooses her words carefully. She adjusts her distance instinctively. She knows when to stay and when to step back. This can make others feel seen and sometimes exposed. Not everyone is comfortable around such clarity, but those who are honest with themselves often feel understood in her presence. She does not try to uncover truth. She simply does not ignore it. And this quiet perceptiveness is often misunderstood. Some mistake it for distance, others for intuition they cannot explain. In reality, it is grounded attention, the ability to remain present and observant without becoming reactive. And from this attentive stillness, the next trait naturally emerges, her ability to remain composed rather than emotionally pulled by everything she perceives. Trait number 2, she observes more than she reacts. Another quiet trait of her inner intelligence is how she responds to life, or rather, how she chooses not to react too quickly. While many people are pulled immediately by emotion, she pauses. She listens before she speaks. She watches before she judges. She allows situations to reveal themselves before deciding what they truly mean. This is not indifference, it is discernment. She understands that first impressions are often incomplete, and that emotional reactions can distort perception rather than clarify it. Epictetus once wrote, "It is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." She lives with this awareness. Instead of being carried away by every emotional surge, she creates space between what happens and how she responds. That space allows her to see more clearly. She notices contradictions between words and actions. She senses tension beneath polite conversation. She recognizes when something feels misaligned, even if everything appears calm on the surface. And because she does not rush to react, people often reveal more around her than they intend. They speak freely. They relax their defenses. In that openness, truth surfaces naturally. Some misunderstand this trait. They may see her as distant, quiet, or reserved. But what they are really sensing is restraint. She knows that not every emotion deserves expression. Not every thought needs a response. And not every truth must be spoken immediately. By observing first, she preserves clarity. By responding deliberately, she preserves energy. And this measured way of engaging with the world naturally leads to the next trait, her deep respect for silence and solitude as essential conditions for inner balance. Trait number 3. She needs stillness to renew her inner energy. Some people recharge by being around others. She does not. A spiritually intelligent woman requires stillness to renew her inner energy. Without quiet, her sensitivity turns into fatigue. Without silence, her emotional clarity begins to blur. This is not preference, it is necessity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The mind becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." For her, stillness is how she clears those colors before they harden into noise. In quiet moments, her nervous system settles. The constant scanning of emotions, hers and others, finally rests. Only then does her intuition regain strength. She may step back from crowds, conversations, or stimulation, not because she dislikes connection, but because too much input drains her inner reserves. Stillness restores what the world constantly extracts. This is why busy environments exhaust her, why superficial interactions feel heavy, why silence feels nourishing rather than empty. Others may misunderstand this need. They may see withdrawal, distance, or emotional coldness, but what they are witnessing is regulation, not rejection. A Stoic understands that clarity comes from order, not excess. She lives this truth emotionally. Stillness allows her to release emotional residue absorbed from people and places. It renews her capacity to feel without becoming overwhelmed. When she returns to others, she does so with calm presence, not depletion. With listening, not reactivity. With steadiness, not noise. Stillness renews her inner world. And that renewal is not a luxury, it is essential. With that inner world restored, she becomes capable of facing something most people avoid: pain. Trait number 4. She transforms pain into wisdom. Most people try to escape pain. She does not. A spiritually intelligent woman understands that pain is not an enemy to be avoided, but a teacher to be faced. When life breaks her open, she does not look away. She goes inward. Epictetus wrote, "Difficulties show what people are." For her, pain reveals truth about herself, about others, about life itself. She does not numb it. She does not rush to label it positive. She stays with it long enough for meaning to emerge. This is not weakness, it is courage. She learns to sit with grief, disappointment, betrayal, and loss without letting them harden her heart. Instead of becoming bitter, she becomes discerning. Instead of closing, she becomes clearer. Over time, pain reshapes her perception. It sharpens her empathy. It deepens her patience. It strips away illusions she once needed to survive. What once wounded her becomes insight. What once overwhelmed her becomes understanding. This is why her words carry weight. They are not borrowed from books or trends, they are earned. A Stoic knows that suffering, when examined honestly, can refine the soul rather than destroy it. She lives this truth emotionally. Because she has faced her own darkness, she does not fear it in others. She can sit beside someone in pain without needing to fix them, rush them, or judge them. Her wisdom is quiet but unmistakable. It does not shout, it steadies. And through this transformation, something subtle changes. She no longer relies on words alone to communicate truth. Which leads us to the next trait, the power of presence beyond speech. Trait number 5. She speaks less, but her words carry weight. A spiritually intelligent woman does not feel the need to fill every silence. She understands that speaking is not the same as communicating. She has learned something many people never do, that words lose power when they are overused. Epictetus wrote, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." For her, this is not advice, it is instinct. She listens carefully. She observes longer than most, and she waits until what needs to be said becomes clear. When she speaks, her words are simple, direct, unembellished. She does not explain excessively. She does not dramatize. She does not speak to impress or dominate a conversation. Because of this restraint, her words land. People notice that when she talks, something shifts, not because she raises her voice, but because she chooses her moment. She understands that silence preserves meaning, that constant commentary weakens insight, that truth does not need repetition to be real. Others may speak to relieve tension. She speaks to reveal clarity. Others may talk around uncomfortable truths. She names them cleanly, without cruelty, without softness. This is not emotional distance, it is discernment. A Stoic knows that wisdom shows itself not in how much one says, but in knowing when speech adds value and when it only adds noise. She lives by this principle naturally. Over time, people learn to listen when she speaks, not because she demands attention, but because her words consistently matter. And this careful relationship with language shapes more than conversations. It shapes the way life responds to her. Trait number 6. She attracts the right people without trying to please everyone. A spiritually intelligent woman does not try to be liked by everyone. She learned long ago that approval is not the same as connection. As she becomes more inwardly aligned, something changes in her relationships. Some people drift away, others move closer, naturally. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Her inner clarity quietly reshapes who feels comfortable around her. She no longer adapts herself to fit every room. She no longer softens her truth to maintain harmony. And because of that, only those who resonate with her remain. This is not rejection, it is filtration. People who seek validation might find her distant. Those who value depth feel drawn to her. She does not chase connection, she allows it. And in doing so, her life becomes less crowded but more meaningful. She attracts people who are ready for honesty, who respect boundaries, who are not threatened by silence or depth. Others fall away without drama, without explanation. A Stoic understands that trying to please everyone fractures the self. She refuses that fracture. This does not make her cold, it makes her clear, and clarity is magnetic. Over time, her relationships feel lighter, cleaner, and more truthful. She spends less energy managing impressions and more energy being real. This is why her presence feels selective, not exclusive, intentional, not guarded. She does not need to be understood by all. She only needs to be aligned with herself. And from that alignment, the right connections arise, quietly, consistently, without force.
Final reflection. She's a spiritually intelligent woman. A spiritually intelligent woman is rarely the loudest presence in the room. She does not announce her depth. She does not perform wisdom. She lives it quietly, consistently, without asking to be seen. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one." And that is exactly how she moves through life. She does not explain her values. She does not defend her boundaries. She does not chase understanding from everyone around her. She simply is, and allows her actions, her composure, and her consistency to speak on her behalf. Her strength is not dramatic. Her intelligence does not compete for attention. Her growth is not something she displays. It is something you sense in her calm, in her restraint, in the way she chooses silence over reaction. She does not seek universal approval. She does not try to belong everywhere. And because of that, the right people find her, while the rest quietly fall away. Stoicism reminds us that not everything valuable needs to be explained, decoded, or possessed. Do not rush to analyze women like this. Do not idealize them, and do not try to pull them closer out of curiosity or desire. Instead, learn from what their presence reveals. Learn to observe more than you speak, to cultivate self-mastery rather than emotional urgency, and to become steady enough to stand beside calm without needing to disrupt it. Because true strength is not proven by intensity, but by composure. Thank you for watching Stoic Wisdom today. If this reflection resonated with you, sit with it for a moment. Ask yourself not who embodies these traits, but which of them you are quietly developing within your own life. For more reflections on men, women, and Stoic wisdom, follow us. And when you're ready, the next video continues this journey, slowly, thoughtfully, and without noise. Until next time, stay grounded, stay calm, stay stoic.